What happens in your dog's mind when you ignore them? Most owners don't think much about it. You're busy answering a message, finishing work, watching television, dealing with everyday responsibilities. Meanwhile, your dog is waiting. Maybe he brings you a toy. Maybe he quietly sits beside you. Maybe he looks at you, hoping for even a moment of attention. And when that attention never comes, something interesting happens. Not because your dog becomes angry or resentful, but because dogs are deeply social animals whose lives revolve around connection. For them, attention is more than affection. It's communication. It's reassurance. It's a way of understanding their place in your world. Today, we're going to explore what dogs may actually feel when they're repeatedly ignored, why certain behaviors begin to appear, and what those reactions reveal about the emotional bond you share. Because sometimes the moments that seem insignificant to us can feel very different from your dog's perspective. And once you understand what happens behind those quiet looks and patient waits, you may never see those moments the same way again. Many people assume dogs care most about food. Others believe toys or treats are their greatest motivation. But for many dogs, one of the most valuable things in the world is your attention. Think about how often your dog checks where you are, how frequently they look at you during the day, how excited they become when you acknowledge them. These aren't random behaviors. They reflect something much deeper. Dogs are naturally wired to pay attention to the members of their social group, and in your dog's mind, you are one of the most important parts of that group. That means your reactions matter. Your voice matters. Your presence matters. When you speak to your dog, make eye contact or respond to them, you're providing something they naturally seek: connection. This doesn't mean dogs need constant attention every second of the day. Healthy dogs can rest, relax, and entertain themselves. But when attention suddenly disappears or becomes consistently unavailable, many dogs notice immediately. And the way they respond may reveal just how important that connection truly is. Because what your dog does next often depends on how they interpret your silence. When people ignore someone, it's often intentional. It can be a message, a reaction, a choice. Dogs don't think about it that way. They aren't sitting there wondering whether you've become upset with them. Instead, they try to understand what has changed. One day you respond immediately. The next day you seem distracted. You don't look at them. You don't react to their usual signals. You don't engage the way you normally do. From your perspective, you may simply be busy. From your dog's perspective, the pattern has changed. And dogs pay close attention to patterns. That's why many dogs begin experimenting with different behaviors when they feel ignored. They may bring a toy, nudge your hand, move closer, sit directly in front of you. They're not trying to annoy you. They're trying to restore interaction. They're testing what works. In many ways, this reflects how important social connection is to dogs. When a familiar source of attention becomes unavailable, they often search for ways to reconnect. And if those efforts continue to fail, some dogs begin responding very differently. That's when the emotional side of the story starts to appear. Have you ever noticed your dog becoming more determined when you're not paying attention? They bring the toy again. They nudge your arm a second time. They place their head on your lap. They follow you into another room. At first, these behaviors may seem demanding, but often they're simply attempts to reconnect. Dogs learn through experience. If attention has worked before, many will naturally try harder when it suddenly stops working. This persistence isn't usually about dominance or control. It's often about maintaining a bond that feels important to them. Your dog has learned that interaction with you is rewarding, not because of treats, not because of toys, but because social connection itself has value. And when that connection feels uncertain, some dogs increase their efforts to regain it. Yet not every dog responds this way. Some take a very different approach, and their reaction can be much easier to miss. Not every dog responds to being ignored by seeking more attention. Some do the opposite. They stop trying. They walk away. They settle in another room. They become quieter than usual. At first glance, this may seem like independence, and sometimes it is. But in other cases, it's simply a different response to the same situation. After repeated attempts to reconnect fail, some dogs reduce those efforts altogether. This doesn't mean they suddenly care less about you. It often means they've learned that attention isn't available at that moment. What makes this reaction easy to miss is how calm it looks from the outside. There is no barking, no pawing, no obvious demand for attention, just silence. But silence doesn't always mean the desire for connection has disappeared. In fact, many dogs remain highly aware of their owners even while appearing completely relaxed. And that raises an important question. How much attention does a dog actually need to feel emotionally secure? One of the biggest misconceptions about dogs is that they need attention every moment of the day. They don't. Healthy dogs spend plenty of time resting, exploring, and simply observing the world around them. The goal isn't constant interaction. The goal is meaningful connection. A few moments of genuine engagement can often matter more than long periods of distracted attention. What many dogs struggle with is not temporary distraction. It's emotional unpredictability. When attention, affection, and interaction become inconsistent for long periods, some dogs can become confused about what to expect. Dogs thrive on patterns. They feel secure when they understand their environment and the people within it. That's why regular moments of connection can have such a powerful impact on their emotional well-being. And when those moments happen consistently, dogs often develop a stronger sense of trust and security. But there is one thing many owners rarely consider. Sometimes the attention dogs want most isn't play, food, or activity. It's something much simpler. Think about how often your dog chooses to be near you even when nothing exciting is happening. You're working, reading, watching television, doing chores around the house, and somehow your dog still wants to be in the same space. Many owners assume their dog is waiting for food, a toy, or a walk, but often they're simply choosing proximity. For highly social animals, being near trusted companions carries its own reward. Your dog doesn't always need an activity. Sometimes they just want to feel connected to the group they consider family. This helps explain why many dogs follow their owners from room to room, because being close creates a sense of comfort and belonging. From a dog's perspective, shared space can be a powerful form of connection, and when owners understand this, they begin to see certain behaviors differently. That quiet presence beside your chair, that decision to sleep near your feet, that familiar habit of following you through the house. And perhaps that's why the emotional impact of being ignored isn't really about attention itself. It's about connection. Which brings us to the most important lesson of all. When people hear the word ignored, they often imagine sadness, rejection, or loneliness. The truth is usually more nuanced than that. Dogs don't interpret every missed interaction as a personal rejection. They understand that daily life includes moments when attention is unavailable. What matters most is the overall pattern of the relationship. Do they feel connected to you? For most well-loved dogs, the answer is yes. And that's why a busy afternoon or a missed play session rarely damages the bond you share. The emotional health of a dog is built over countless interactions, not isolated moments. These small experiences accumulate over time and create a sense of security that dogs carry with them every day. Perhaps that's the real lesson behind everything we've discussed. Your dog isn't keeping score. They aren't counting how many times you looked at your phone or how long you spent answering emails. What they remember is the relationship, the consistency, the trust, the feeling of belonging beside someone they care about. And that may be one of the most beautiful things about dogs. They don't expect perfection. They simply value connection. So the next time your dog looks at you, follows you into another room, or quietly settles nearby, remember what that behavior often represents. Not a demand, not an obligation, but a simple desire to share life with you. And sometimes giving them even a few moments of genuine attention can mean far more than we realize.